The first car I ever had, but this was in high school, was a Beretta.
Oh, yeah, the Pontiac. Yeah, the two-door Jimmy. Yeah, listen.
That was my, man, I think 10 on my Chevy Beretta.
And you had the BBSs probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the Berettas. I wanted one. I wanted a Beretta and a Jetta. I was like, those were my two cars I wanted. I had Nikes.
I went to the place that people like, I went to the Jawn, people like, where? I went to Circuit City. They're like, what's a Circuit City?
Are you serious? Everybody knows Circuit City.
You're too young. You'll never know. But I went there, got my radio and my speakers, doing it in the back of the Jawn.
You got 212s in it? You got 212s in it?
Yes!
Hey, welcome to KROSS BARZ, the podcast where we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspectives. I'm your co-host, Big O, and I have with me...
Hey, Tanae is back in the building one more time with our wonderful, talented, super talented guest, Mr. Reggie Gaskins. Give it up for Mr. Gaskins, y'all. Come on. Give it up.
All right. So now, you've been on plenty of shows, guest appearances. I've seen comedy most of the time. However, I want to know first, before we get into the details and minutia of your life, I want to know how in the hell you keeping that hairline tight like that,
fam? Listen, at the end of the day, I throw 10 on the window about that.
Okay. Because I just looked, I said, because I ain't calling you mister because you look younger than me. I'm just been clean out there. I'm like, I ain't calling that man mister. He's younger than me. I'm like, how the hell? See, me, I got to keep a hat on because, I got the 10-5 back here. I'm like,
got a 5 head.
Yeah, I got a 10-5. Oh, Tanae, don't worry about little bunk over there. You better knock it off.
Don't start.
Yeah. Tanae was in movies as well. Give me your line, remember? You don't remember? She don't remember her lines. Say it. Hey, you guys! Like one more time.
I can't.
Can't do it no more. All right. So, right, let's say this, okay? Mm-hmm. How did you get into acting and comedy?
So the way I got into acting, interesting story. I went to Westchester University. My major was accounting, and I majored also in psychology.
You look like an accountant. You do.
Yeah. And the look is there. The ability to do it was not.
Oh,
numbers. Let me not say I was a good little junior accountant. It just bored me to tears. As soon as I opened a ledger or a balance sheet, 7 minutes later, I'm asleep. I'm like, this is boring to me.
Right.
And but back in the day, my mom raising me, I was raised by my mom. She raised me and my brother in North Philly. She was like, to make something of yourself. North Philly.
Yo, you're not gonna go. You ain't just hold up. Wait a minute. You from North Philly?
North Philly.
No, you don't give me North Philly vibes. You give me like Eastern, like you way above Upper Darby. Like you said North Philly now, right? What you about to tell me? You from West Oak Lane, the one street in Philly everybody know? It's like me from Atlanta.
I came back home from college. I moved up to West. We used to call it West Oak Lane.
West Oak Lane, okay. Because that's what I do.
Walk around town like, "What's up, Bob?"
Oh. That's one thing I used to do all the time because in certain cities there's the one street everybody knows. Uh-huh. So like if you're from Atlanta, all you got to say is Peachtree. Like Peachtree runs through the whole state. Like right. If you're from Philly, it's West Oak Lane.
West Oak Lane.
West Oak Lane. If you were in Newark, it's Chancellor or Springfield Ave. Okay. So now you grew up in New York or Philly?
I grew up in North Philly.
North Philly.
Born and raised my whole life.
North Philly.
Went to Dobbins Tech. I was hanging out with Bo Kimball's point guard.
Yeah, you was. Yo, hold up. Okay, we gotta stop for a second. You just dropped a little jewel right there. If people don't know, Bo Kimball was Loyola Marymount basketball legend, Philly legend, and you was the point guard for Bo Kimball
in high school. Him and Hank Adams.
And Hank, They went to the same high school? I thought they met in college.
No, they went to the same high school. All three went to Dobbins.
Dobbins.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. So I was a man named Heat. Heat was a beast, and I was Heat's backup. I was the backup point guard. He was meat and potatoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he knew how to play the game. I was showboat. I was mad. I come in
so
mad.
So you average like 6 turnovers because Philly ain't playing. They ain't playing with you like that.
No, not with my coach.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Hey.
You can make as many on the back passes as you want, as long as you don't turn it over.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dobbins is no joke. And you know, because I'm trying to think, because you played with Hank Garrett, so during that time, I thought Gratz ran the city during that time period.
Oh yeah, Gratz, because Gratz, Massbomb, Franklin, Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic and Gratz usually they go back and forth, but like Dobbins had Philly got a bunch of ballers. There's 2 things that Philly has a plethora of. Well, 3. Basketball players, hardcore gangster rappers, and people who can make cheesesteaks. Like you can find a great cheesesteak spot on the corner. Like, I used to make cheesesteaks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't forget about the Philly pretzels. So
nah, listen, that was the breakfast. I like people don't realize that. That's the Philly breakfast. Yeah, like a pretzel. Yeah. That's like
the pretzels were the breakfast.
Yeah, because things is bad. Like yeah.
Word? I don't know. I didn't know that.
They grab one of them. Like Philly is known for like they pretzels is like huge.
Yeah,
and they like they're real huge. So it's like it's filling. It's like oatmeal.
Oh, tasty. Listen, I could do a whole sermon on how good these goddamn pretzels are, but I ain't even gonna get to preach.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, hold on. Okay, I got off track. You threw me for a loop because I was like, oh no, he's from New York. I thought you was like upper New York, Westchester County. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So now you with the Dobbins, Bo Kimball, Philly. You sound like you are the most clean-cut person in the world. So when someone says, I'm an accountant, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. But people don't know. Well, no, people know because people seeing you on television and your worldwide acclaim as well. So now, how did you get to acting from Philly? Because now we know that one of the greatest Black actors of all time, had some issues, but was Bill Cosby. And that's the only person I can really say, really was out there in Philly as, making everybody think, we could do it.
Right. So this is how I got into acting. Was in college, didn't want to major in what I was majoring in. My mom was paying for my college, and she was also taking care of my grandparents. Mm-hmm. And even though she had 5 sisters, my mom was kind of the matriarch of the family, so she's doing it all. And I was raised by her, and I saw her struggle. So as I got older and older, I always wanted to help her. My last year of college, senior year of college, my grandfather got sick, so I left college to come home to help her take care of him, right? And my grandfather lived a full life. He ultimately passed away, and we took care of that. And so then I was like, okay, before I go back to college, I'm going to just chill in Philly. I went to Westchester. I'm going to just chill in Philly for a minute, figure out what I want to do with my life. And all I would do is play basketball and go to work. Walking home from basketball one day, I walked past this place called Freedom Theater. Okay. Freedom Theater is legendary for one of the stomping grounds. It's like the Juilliard of acting in Philly, right?
Okay.
I'm walking past Freedom Theater. I hear all this noise and everything. I'm just standing out there. And North Philly a little rough. So this dude said, you staking out our place, homie? What you doing? We'll be standing out here. If you're going to come in, or get out. I'm just standing out front. And I guess I looked like I was like trying to stake it out or something.
Yeah.
Long story short, I went in, saw what they were doing. It interests me. I took an acting class and been acting ever since. Never went back to finish college.
That's crazy.
Wow. Hold up. Wait a minute. Is your mom from Philly as well?
Everybody, my whole family.
Okay, so I got to ask this next question because what you just said. How did you break the news to your mom that she wasn't going back to college? Because she's from Philly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So tell me how you broke the news.
My mom's a teacher with a doctorate.
And okay. Please tell us how you broke that to her.
So, I'm taking my acting classes and doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And an acting bug hit me. So my mom said, are you going to go back to class? I said, well, yeah, I am going to go back. Because I didn't tell her I was taking acting classes. I would leave work and, go play basketball. So instead of going to play basketball, I would leave work and go to Freedom Theater. So she never knew I was taking these classes at Freedom. She said, so it was September. She said, are you starting back this September? And I said, well, yeah, I'm starting back to class. She said, oh, okay. Did you decide to go back to Westchester or Temple University, which is right down the street from where I live? And I said, no, I'm going to Freedom Theater. She's like, what? I said, I'm going to Freedom Theater. I said, in fact, I'm in a play that opens up next week. She's like, hold on. When did all this start? What are you talking about? And what does any of that have to do with going back to college? I didn't say nothing about the damn theater. I said, I'm talking about universities. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe I wasn't clear. I'm talking about a university or a college. I'm talking about no theater.
Yeah, right? You try to mince words. I got you. Absolutely.
I said, Mom, as I'm getting older and becoming a young man and having to learn how to make decisions for myself, she said, you shut all that down right now. When are you going back to college? And I said, Mom, this is kind of what I want to do. And it hit her hard for a minute, but my mom is very supportive. She said, all right, here's the deal. I'll rock with you. I'll support you. But if all fall down, you know what you got to do to pick it back up. I was like, well, then let's ride, And fortunately for me, one of the very first plays that I booked was one of their big giant plays that they put on every year for the whole city to come see. And then right after that, I booked a show that sent me to Vegas for a month. Yeah. And I had only been acting. I mean, I took the class, it was a 6-week class. And then I was doing continuing studies. So after 2 months of acting, thankfully, I booked these 2 big things. Then I come back and I book another big play. And excuse me, one second.
Are you doing this yourself, or did you have a manager at the time, or are you doing it on your own?
I'm doing this myself. All myself. Excuse me, one second, Shane. That's my Amazon package. Open the door for him. Open the door for my Amazon package. So I'm
all right. Amazon just got a rule shout out. All right, go ahead, continue.
So I'm kind of, you just put it here. I'm just doing all this myself. And, it was a blessing because at that time, Philly was a rough city. You know what I mean? And every day it was just a matter of survival. My mom kept me off the street. She would try and put me in things, but you got to get to wherever you're going and you're going to come across certain elements or whatever the case is. And as much as it's a city of brotherly love, because I love that aspect of Philly, the one thing is you always know where you stand with everybody.
Thanks.
Somebody don't like you, it. Like, yo, what's up, man? Don't speak to me. Okay, well, you don't like me, I don't like you either. That's it. It was good.
Yeah.
I'd rather that.
But certain elements, but being in the theater kind of kept me off the streets, kept me in the straight and narrow. My mom raising me and my brother by herself. For all intents and purposes, she always wanted to make sure we were in places that were good. And Freedom gave me that. It gave me that protection of not falling into certain elements while at the same time learning how to become a man. Because as much as I learned how to become an actor, it taught me how to become a man. And so doing all the plays and everything, the bug hit me. I just wanted to do theater. I did a lot of August Wilson plays and a lot of slave plays. And I didn't want to do that. I was like, I went to college. I ain't finished, but I did go. But I don't want to spend my whole acting career with the famous lines of, yes, boss.
Yes, boss. The Bautista. You from the Bautista tribe, huh? Yeah, I got you.
I don't want to spend my whole acting career doing that. And then at that time, a lot of plays catered to that. You know what I mean? So I began to write plays, my own plays.
Holy moly.
And drug dealing was kind of big. I went to college. And in my neighborhood, the old heads was like, yo, we got to protect, young boy, because he can play ball. So
hold on
like,
for a second. You spoke of this vernacular. Did they call you a young boy, or did they call you a young bull or a young boy? Young bull. Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Make sure we know the Philly vernacular, sir. Go ahead. Continue.
So like, I gotta say young boy, you know what I mean? We don't want him selling nothing. And the old heads in the neighborhood, they really, they ain't looked out. I appreciated them. But when I came home from college, there were some people that were still doing the exact same thing. Play ball, sit on the stoop, drink beer till you drunk, go find women, smoke weed, wake up, do the same thing next day, right? So in many respects, it was a lot of people's like, yo, respect you trying to get an education doing your thing. And in some respects, it was like, man, he think he better than somebody. You know what I mean? Right. So it wasn't that volatile, but it was still there. The element was still there. So I wrote a play called We Can Do This, which was a play about the unification of the street mentality, right? With those who are going to college to try to better themselves and how we can come together. Because some of the people on the street, it's a friend of mine, this boy was he was a pitcher for Franklin. This boy was a beast as a pitcher. And he was smart. You know what I mean? Like he was real smart.
But he would have been
one of the greatest mathematicians ever.
Okay.
But the streets got him.
Yeah.
So the math skills that he applied was not for anything that was industry rated, business related, legal job related. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he had the smarts to run a business.
Right.
And that ultimately caused a crash and burn in his life. But if he had applied that, he literally could have been running Amazon or something like that. So I wrote a play about how these two types of people from the same city, your street element, drug dealers, whatever the case is, and you're educated, let's not judge and fight each other. Let's not look at them like, yo, y'all ain't trying to do nothing with your life, so stay away from me. And them look at us like, yo, you bougie now because you got some education. We still Black, we still brothers and sisters. Let's come together. Wrote the play. Play was only supposed to run for 1 weekend, ended up running for 6 months. And it's a cool little play called We Can Do It. And that
so I do have a question. So did you write before then? Like, did you write poetry? Did you write music? Did you write anything like growing up? Like, how did you just like, okay, I'm gonna write and just wrote?
I balanced I balanced checkbooks. That's what I did. When I got into writing, so playing for Dobbins, Yank was my coach. Yank would say to us, if you're not playing for a championship, what you playing for? If you're not here to try to win the whole thing, what you here for? And so I applied that when I wanted to write, because I was like, I don't want to keep doing these type of plays. I want to do my own type of play. And Johnny Hobbs, I was on stage lunching. We used to call it luncheon back in the day, because I'm just thinking about doing my own. That go to show my age right there. But I said that to my son. I was like, why are you lunching? He said, Dad, I haven't eaten all day. Nah, forget it. So
no, that ain't it.
But I'm sitting around thinking about the type of play I'd like to do. And the director's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be doing your line, because I missed my line. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking. He said, whatever you're thinking about, do it yourself. Do it on your own time. But don't do it on my time. You're on my stage, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, let me learn how to write. And if I'm going to learn how to write, let me learn how to write and be as good as August Wilson. Let me try to figure out how to do that, you know?
Well, listen, I know some things about some things. Was it the rivalry between Philadelphia and Pennsylvania is why you try to always mention August Wilson like Philly is better than Pennsylvania? I mean, Philly is better than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, excuse me.
Pittsburgh, I'm about to say
Pittsburgh, yeah.
No, Pittsburgh. My brother went to the University of Pitt. Pittsburgh's a cool place.
Okay, all right.
Pittsburgh cool.
Yeah.
Ain't got one water tower. But it's a cool spot.
Listen. You know, so look, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm just like, all right, let me make sure the undertones is right, because you know, it's like I have several real good friends that are from Philly. I grew up in New Jersey, so that's why I know so much about Philly, because Jersey is basically a suburb of New York City and Philadelphia.
Exactly.
It's like South Jersey, Philadelphia.
You jumping on the Walt Whitman or the Ben Frank right there.
What you talking about, Walt Whitman? You got the Bristol, Walt Whitman, Tacony Palmyra, Ben Franklin. You got all of them, So that's why I was like, But at the same time, I feel like, say I'm like a Philly cousin. You know what I mean? Like a Philly cousin. So that's why I always got jokes from him. But I always say this one thing. Gitanos in Willingboro, New Jersey got better cheesesteak than Philly. I'm saying it.
Oh.
That's what I said. And I mean, sure, I said, like, with my chest out.
Yeah. And let me go ahead and verify. I've been there before. He ain't just talking to go ahead and try to rouse someone from Philly up and get them mad so they can start talking about or it's the Dibbles or something like that. What he's talking about, he ain't just saying that just because it's something to say.
Thank you.
All right,
that's all I'm saying.
All right, appreciate it. Because you get one of them jammies, that's for a family. Yeah, you get you a Gitanos joint, and that's why I was like, I went Istanbul. I've been to places, and I was like, but now watch this.
One of them jammies is a Jersey term, because for me, Phil, I say get one of them Jawns.
Jawns,
he said
right.
Jammies, so I don't know what the jammy is. I ain't had a jammy.
I love it.
But at the same time,
I ate a Jawn before, but I ain't ate a jammy.
So now, listen, Sister Muhammad in North Philly, she got the best, the fish sandwiches up there and the fish hoagies up there. So I'm like, this crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just super awesome. But now we gotta get more back into you because now your mom rocked with you. She said, you know what? I'm doing it. Stuff. You booking stuff. You making money because that's the most important. Because your mom we ain't playing that broke stuff. So now you making money. So she kind of chilled off for you. Now, how did your brother react? Because you're the oldest, correct?
No, I'm the youngest. My brother's 6 years older than me.
Oh, I apologize. Got it mixed up. So I switched up the thinking. So now you the baby boy. Oh, you spoiled as hell. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I wish I was spoiled. My mom ain't played that.
Man, you was a basketball star. If you went to Dobbins and you played, you just wore a jacket around and got girls. Knock it off. If you got a Gratz I saw a dude with a Gratz basketball t-shirt and a couple of girls stopped him. I was like, what's Gratz? That's how I learned about what Gratz was. I was like, what, is that a piano school?
Yeah, Gratz. Yeah. I hadn't, man, Heat was better than me. And, my junior, senior year, I'm going through a little bit of things, but I wish I had been pushed further in basketball. Pushed, like someone really pushed, like, yo, stay with it and be good, and all the other stuff, you'll be able to work through all that other stuff as well. But I'm fortunate, I made the team, I played for it. If I had been pushed to really go after basketball, I believe I'd have been in the NBA.
What? Okay.
What about
uncles? All right, listen.
Somebody to be like pushing anything, or cousin or uncles be like, boy, get to that court. Nobody like that.
Yeah, at that time, no, because everybody was just going through something, just trying to live, just trying to survive. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at that time, my mom wasn't big into sports. My mom was an educator. She was a teacher for her whole life. She became a doctorate. She implemented the entire curriculum for the Philadelphia School Board for African American Studies.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
She ain't worried about 20 points and 10 rebounds.
Hold up. You was averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds?
No, I'm saying if someone
okay.
My average was about a good 10 points, but at least 15 assists. Because I was like, I love dishing the ball. I've always wanted to make my star players look good.
Let you know, down in Willingboro, I was a JV All-American. You know what I'm saying? So I was
that's
JV
what he said.
I was JV All-American. Oh, that means junior varsity. I was, get up there with the big boys.
JV.
Like, JV All-American. That's what I said. But now, so now you play with Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball. Now tell me, after seeing those colleges, because they were highly recruited and touted in the city, because Bo Kimball is what, 6'7", 6'8"?
Yeah.
And Hank Gathers was taller. He was like 6'10".
He was 6'9", 6'10", something like that.
Yeah. So now, you play for this powerhouse, and in Philly, which is a basketball mecca, one of the, I say, top 5 places where ballers come from in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you saying, Mom, I think they might look at me too? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you went to Westchester. Did you go there for basketball, or you just say, you know, I want to stay close to home?
Now, I went to Westchester for education, and one of the things that, so I tell you an interesting story. Playing ball, I was talking trash. I was a showman. You know, I would talk mess. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, where your girl at? After this move, she's going to be mine. Come here, shorty, let's go. You know? So I'd be talking all kinds of stuff. But the incident happened. I'm talking trash to this dude. You know, everybody's going back and forth. And I put on the move. We won the game. People, you know, he was embarrassed. He starts walking to his bag, right? And we, you know, on the course celebrate. Next thing, you know, pop, pop. Everybody hit the ground, you know, and running.
Hit the ground. Word.
And, you know, he bounced. Nobody got shot. My mom heard about it. I'm pulling you off the streets. You play ball, you play in the gyms. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's street ball.
Wow.
I thought you was talking about in school at Dobbins. I'm like, what? That is unheard of. Oh, okay. No.
You know, pulling you off the street. And inside the gyms, there weren't a lot of gyms that had, you know, basketball. And she kind of was like, I'm pulling you out the element completely. I ain't going to shoot my son, cross you over and hurt your ankle. You know. So, I mean, I stayed with it, but I didn't, like I said, I wasn't pushed beyond that.
Okay.
You know, but getting in the act, and I'm not 6'4", 5", or anything like that. You know, I'm just 5'10". And in my own mind, I'm thinking, yo, I'm not tall enough. So I have my own little insecurities that I was dealing with, you know, as you're growing up.
Hold up. You had Stokes there. Oh, go ahead. I apologize.
No, that's kind of like a similar scenario that Will Smith, you know, that went through when he talks about that thing too, and he was on the court. His mom didn't want him to be there, and he got, you know, into the shooting on the court and all that. It's kind of like the
my
same.
parents got scared. He's like, I got it one tiny fight. My mom got scared.
What Smith did about won the ball on the court. You know, somebody got mad because they won or whatnot. Same thing, pulled out the gun. It's like that whole. It's the same kind of similar thing. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that in.
Yeah. So I go through my whole life. I go through writing, learn how to write. I start writing plays. The plays did well. And 2 of my actors in my plays got the acting bug. They moved to California. But I love being on stage. And then I had transitioned from doing plays in Philly to doing plays in Philly and New York. Now, I'm on Broadway, you know, and I'm like, yo, how can I get to Broadway? Great actor who's out here. His name is Keith Burke. He's on the show called The Have and Have Nots. Okay. And another brother named Ben. He's done a couple shows, CSI. He's in my new film. They were in one of my first plays. And they said, you should move to Philly, Reg. Well, at this point in my life, now I have kids. Theater, I mean, unless you're doing Broadway, theater is not paying a whole bunch of money. So I'm doing my little plays, but I still got to keep a job, and I have kids, and they want me to move cross country. I'm not going to do it, you know. You can make it out here. I said, there's a whole bunch of folks thought they could make it out there and didn't. I'm not doing it. And I don't want to be on television or in film. That's a place where people want to go to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I just enjoy acting. I want to keep going.
Oh, you love the art. Nah, man, you wasn't in it for the girls.
Not for the girls and not for the money. I love it. And I loved acting. I never wanted to be rich. I never wanted to be famous. I was like, yeah, obviously you want some money.
Yeah.
But I love doing a character so much. And, you know, when you're taught acting in Philly and then in New York, they don't give a darn about fame. Fuck that. If you don't know your lines, if you don't have a character built, go do something else. Don't come on my stage hoping to get famous. You know what I mean? And I remember one of my directors said that. Do not be on the stage hoping. We're doing a play and a whole bunch of dignitaries and directors like Spike Lee was supposed to come. People from Martin Scorsese's camp. This was in New York. If you're on this stage hoping that one of them will see you, you can leave right now.
Yeah.
And I will recast in a heartbeat. And they didn't play that famous stuff. And that was ingrained in me. And I just didn't want to leave. And they kept saying, Reg, I'm telling you, you can do something in this business. You can go further. And since you're all about trying to take care of your kids, right? And true story, I'm cool with my baby's mom. Like, we had a good relationship. And they said, we don't want to, but you don't make enough money and you are helping, but we want to put you on child support. I said, do it. Hold me accountable. I was all for it. I was like, yeah, do it, because any money I get, I don't want it to be left up to me to have to make the decision, because my decision will be, I'm gonna give them a couple dollars, but I'm gonna put some Jordans on layaway.
Okay. Excuse me.
That's that new can of baby daddy financing.
Excuse me, Mr. Gaskins. Yeah, the gentleman here has a question. So you wanted to be on child support?
It's not that I wanted to be, but I was okay with it because I wanted to be sure that they got whatever they needed. You know what I mean?
I do understand that, and that's very commendable. But we skipped some things, so we got to get back because we skipped some things. You got me excited. You was talking about some guys during the era of Philly basketball that was nice. Like Stokes was there. Say Sheed was there. A little later, Bibby was there. You were a little older than Sheed, but I'm like, he was still on the scene. But at the same time, when did you have your child in the course of this? But budding acting career / going to college to be an accountant. So there's a time period where you must have met a woman and said, okay, I think I like her. Or was this your high school sweetheart?
So this was right when I first started acting. So my youngest son's mother and I were together from 6th grade to pretty much senior year of college.
What the hell?
Yeah, I was never one. I never really liked dating a whole bunch of women. It just never was my thing.
And you played basketball for Dobbins?
Yeah.
Okay. This okay. Tell me another fairy tale.
He's a
See?
He's a fair guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this. Were you faithful the whole time?
With her? Yeah.
With her?
Yeah. Thank you.
Because I grew up in that mindset. I didn't grow up. I wasn't.
You grew up in Philly? Yeah, you grew up in Philly.
But I wasn't 15, 17 with all these women. I was 12, 13, 14 with the mindset, don't cheat. So that stayed with me as an adolescent. So as I got older and opportunities presented themselves, that young mindset. So I can't attribute it all to me just being some great dude. Okay. It was just the mindset that was instilled in me. And I was raised by my mom. And I saw what my mom went through. And even though she never talked about any hurts, eventually I kind of figured it out. You by yourself.
Right.
And you're not like some other people's moms I've met where I understand why dad ain't there. I done met some of my friends. Right. Yeah, shoot, I ain't but 12 and I'm ready to go. Shoot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. I'm walking on you right now. I mean, my mom was rough. She was hardcore, but she was a cool person. I saw her around people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want to hurt someone the way I've seen some women hurt in my adolescence and cause them to be the Cruella de Vils that they've become. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You're saying all that, and just me looking at, your films and your TV and your shows and things like that. And then it says something I read about you that you did the Meisner technique, right? That's what you were trained under, the Meisner technique. But that talks about, being in your emotions and not just memorizing the line, but using your emotions and your, whoever your peers are on the stage to help you go into character. And that's what I get from you is I feel like the emotions. I feel like he's a genuinely emotional person. And I think that's probably why the acting may have been easy for you because you allowed that to kind of rule, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's just kind of what I'm getting from you. You allowed that to, move you and propel you into just further acting, things like TV and all that.
So jumping back into the acting aspect of it, it's called being in your head. So being in your head as an actor is, let me try to be what they want me to be, as opposed to Let me just be what the character is supposed to be. So when you get in your head, if you're a casting director and I'm like, and the script says this concerned father, let me try to be concerned. I'm concerned. Are you okay? How's your foot? Did you hurt your knee? Really? Really? Is this how you really show concern in real life? You know what I mean? Right. Everybody shows concern different. So let me just show it the way I would show concern, as opposed to trying to be. You know what I mean? And I just learned, just be. Stop trying to appease what you think a casting director or a writer or a director wants. Because what every show requires is someone living in the moment, not trying to be. You know what I mean? So from an acting standpoint, that got me. But being raised by my mom, it just instilled within me certain things. Now, I ain't perfect. Okay. But my first girlfriend.
I know, yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah, we going that. Yeah, you was good. Okay. Because you just consistently said my girlfriend and not my wife. So what happened? What happened where she didn't, get promoted because she was there for that long?
Yeah, I as I grew up and got older, I was the cause for the things all fall down. Like, who fault was that, Mom? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Like, what was you doing? Growing up.
Okay. All right. So now, you have a child, and now, sometimes you were one of those, what we call a struggling actor.
Yeah.
Okay. So
with two kids.
With two, whoa. I think we just fast forward. Because we you said two, because I thought you had one, and then you had another baby mom.
Yeah, I had two kids, two boys.
Same mother?
No.
Okay, so tell me what happened, sir.
Yeah. Me and my childhood sweetheart, we had a kid, but I was at the precipice of life where I was transitioning from this educated young African-American man who's going down the path of corporate America to the artsy guy. Wants to be an actor and wants to be on stage and wants to tell stories. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
She was on the path of an educator and she stayed on that path.
Gotcha.
And and she ultimately pledged. She became a sorority sister. And that
no, go ahead. I was saying, what's a sorority?
Oh, she's a Delta.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
They broke up, right? Like she was saying, "Whoa!" Like we on team. We're on team Reggie. We're team Reggie. I'm team Reggie. Go ahead, Reggie.
And it was over 30 years ago, but
no, she hold the grudge. It's like you're famous. Look, you're famous. You're wealthy. You're doing things. Yeah, brother. There's some resentment in there, buddy.
But she went on her path.
Okay.
I went on my path. But just before, going on these two paths, we had our kid, and the blessing is. She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful mother. Her husband and her done a wonderful job in terms of giving him that mother-father relationship, family. You know what I mean?
Structure.
She and I have been able to have conversations and co-parent. So I give them all the credit in the world. And I'm just thankful and blessed to have that my son had two families to support them. You know what I mean?
Two families.
And then as I moved on, I met someone, had my second son, right? And this is prior to going to LA, because we weren't married. So I get all this, you need to come to LA, and they love your type of guy, and this, that, and the other. I just don't want, I got my kids here, I'm struggling, I don't want to do it, right? I guarantee you, come here and you make it, you can make enough money where you won't have them issues. Money don't move me. I'm not doing it. I never wanted to do it. So finally, I turned 30.
Okay.
And I was depressed. I didn't really I'm working as an actor, but I ain't no star. Okay. There's no job I really want to do, because all the jobs fell asleep. I fell asleep one time at the job and man came up on me and like, Reg, were you asleep? And I'm like, this is the ninth time I done got caught asleep. I had to think fast. I was like, no, I wasn't asleep. It was a gnat in my eyes trying to suffocate it.
That's good.
I ain't never heard that one.
Yeah, suffocate the gnat. I'm using that one.
Like he's flying around trying to kill him.
Yeah, I'm still.
I didn't want to get fired either.
Yeah, no, I'm suffocating.
Ninth job, I think I'm fired from in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
okay.
But they talked me into it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna come to LA for about 6 weeks and see. Let me just see. And as soon as I got here, I went and trying to produce my film and get money for a film and trying to become an actor. I was like, I got to do something to make money. I did it 2 weeks when I got out here. And none of that happened. Now I'm kind of stuck here because I don't have enough money to get back.
They burnt the ships. Gotcha.
Theater in LA is not like theater in Philly and New York.
What is the difference? Tell me the difference. Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't even gonna be politically.
We want to know.
Yeah, give it straight boss.
In New York, they take theater ultimately seriously. It's not about who's going to be in the audience and let me show off and let me just dress right and look good. And no, funk that. Do your character, do your job. Preparation is important. Rehearsals are important. You got to know exactly what you're doing. The desire from many playwrights to have that is out here. A lot of playwrights have that desire, but the execution of it, just from what I've witnessed, and this is from back in the day when I first got out here, the execution of it was not there. It just seemed like people didn't take plays seriously. They didn't want to take the craft of acting on a stage seriously, not the way they did in Philly and New York. Wasn't no playing around, wasn't no being late, wasn't no, oh, wait, what's going on? You know, and no, you learn that script, you got 3 weeks to learn your entire script, whether you're the lead or got 4 lines, you got 2-3 weeks. Where here, it's like, yeah, I need about 5 months, you know? And now and back home, they'll give you 5 months. They're going to give you time, but you have to know it, right? Here, you got 5 months or 5 weeks. People still don't know their lines.
Wow. So they taking it like a hobby, not like their career in their lifeblood per se. Gotcha.
And there are a lot of people that do plays that come from theater that want it, but it was the element. It was surrounded by many elements where it just was not like it was back home. It may be different now because I haven't done theater out here in a long time. And some of the plays I've gone to have been some really, really good plays, you know?
Okay.
But for me, I was like, all right, I don't want to do theater. Let me just try and do television and film. And then doing that, like a few actors out here, I ended up homeless. I'm living
were you waiting tables like most? They say that.
I never did the waiter thing.
Oh, okay.
I could type real fast, and I knew accounting, so I would have temp jobs.
Oh, so you sweet. Okay.
But the interesting thing with a temp job, you get fooled into thinking you're going to be full time. Oh, no. Well, stupid, you took a job where the first term in the job you took is temp. Yeah. You ain't going to be there that long.
It stands for temporary. Yeah, it stands for temporary. Yeah. So,
but you get fooled like, oh, man, I'm making $20 an hour. This is good. I'm all right. 2 weeks later, okay, thank you for your services.
Yeah, no benefits. Now leave. Absolutely. Doses.
But I'm doing good. Yes, you did a great job. It's over. You know?
Yeah. So now you see the difference between LA scene as far as theater in New York and Philadelphia. So now for looking at it as a common customer of the theater, I love theater. My first theater experience was Serafina. Okay. You know, that was like super awesome. I didn't want to go. I was like, I don't want to go. Then I got there. I was like, they were singing, and then they were singing the African spirit. And I was like, you know, I'm a teenager. Like, oh, then the next experience, my first Broadway show was seeing Charles Dutton, you know, do the piano lesson. And I was like, you know, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then, you know, later on, every chance I get, you know, if I can afford it, if, you know, it's reasonable, you know, I'm up there. I try to catch a show, something decent. So I've seen quite a few. But but the catch is that during the time period, like for me, I grew up in the 80s and in, part in the 90s as well in college. But when I seen like plays, it was for a certain demographic. Like people truly like said, okay, we love the art. We love the story because the play gives you something different from a movie. It touches you different. Right. So for me, looking at a play versus a movie, it stuck, it stuck with me a little like further down the line. Like I just ran off plays. I can't tell you about certain movies. I'm like, oh, I think I've seen that movie, but I can tell you the plays I saw, and how it made me, Fela Kuti, or like, okay, I seen that one. Like, it touched me. But now for you being on the other side of you're in plays, you see people not taking it seriously. Now you write plays. Do you tend to find that I'm going to select people based on my preference? This person is from New York. This person is from Philadelphia. They're from this acting school. They're from Juilliard, not from Los Angeles, not from San Francisco Playhouse.
For me, everybody that came in had a blank canvas because
tabula rasa.
From the way I was taught acting, it didn't matter where you was from. Do you take acting seriously? You could be from Skipback, Mississippi, but if you take acting seriously, that's all that mattered. So when I did plays, it only mattered. You may not have the greatest acting skill, but if someone had great acting skills but didn't take it seriously, I would choose the person who had the passion to try and want to be a better actor because they took it seriously over someone that's like, I'm good at this. I do what I want to do. I'm not coming to rehearsal today. I'll be there tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about those stand-ins? Because like when you do plays, you have to have the understudy right there. Like where movies you don't. Have you had any experience of being a stand-in or wanting to be a stand-in or having a stand-in? Understudy, excuse me.
I understudied for Corey for Fences. And I had to study Fences. And the guy that was doing it intimidated me because he was a monster. This dude, when he went into character, it was over. And I was just thankful that they chose me to be his understudy because I'm like, if something happened to him, y'all think I can do that?
Right.
Jiminy Crickets, and I ain't said Jiminy Crickets since I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
But because I took it seriously, he said, I believe in you. He said, you've shown. And it's like the way my coach taught me. If you're going to be in something, be in it to win a championship.
Absolutely.
So it was like, I was never really one who didn't have confidence. But I tempered my confidence with what I would say intelligence. I'm confident in myself, but I'm also smart enough to know I'm not at this level or at that level. I believe I can get there. I just know where I'm at. So I'm good where I'm at, and I know I can get further. I'm just not there yet. Where if someone saw something in me, it's like, you can get there. And in fact, I'm not going to wait for you to get there. I'm going to put you there right now. So go handle your business. Then let's go.
All
right.
So what do you like?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you like more? Do you like acting? Do you like directing? Do you like producing? Because that's a whole lot of hats to wear. Like, what do you see? What do you like the most?
Acting all day.
Always acting.
All day. Yeah. I love acting. I got into writing, like I said, because I didn't want to do the types of plays that I was doing. And my play was a contemporary play. And I wrote it to play the kind of character I wanted to play. And so even now in my films, and thankfully, Hollywood has I was able to move out of my car.
Okay.
Moved out of my my two-seat car.
What you have, a Sentra or a Civic?
Back
all actors have Civics.
I had an Act Ledge back in the day.
You had an Integra. You ain't have a Legend. Knock it off.
I mean,
you was balling.
The first car I ever had, but this was in high school, was a Beretta.
Oh, yeah, the Pontiac. Yeah, the two-door. The two-door. Yeah, listen.
That was I think 10 on my Chevy Beretta.
And you had the BBSs probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the Berettas. I wanted one. I wanted my dad. I wanted a Beretta and a Jetta. I was like, those are my two cars I wanted. I had Nikes.
And I went to the place that people like. I went to the Jawn. People like, where? I went to Circuit City. They're like, what's a Circuit City?
Are you serious? Everybody knows Circuit City.
You're too young. You don't never know. But I went there, got my radio and my speakers, doing it in the back of the Jawn.
You got 212s in it? You got 212s in it?
Yes. I drive down Fairmount Park, you know, you was at the Northern Freaknik, we like to say, you know, right. Oh, I think I seen you. I think I seen you. Cherry Hill Mall.
Oh, knock it off now.
Yep.
You can't flex at Cherry Hill because you know that. Look, Cherry Hill police don't play. You know what I'm saying? They profile. That was like one of the first places profile.
Buy some stuff and then come back to Camden, hang out for a little bit, and shoot back across the bridge.
Reggie. Now you're taking it too far. You telling me you was hanging out in Camden in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
You better knock it off, Reggie. You will not be here, Reggie. Reggie. I researched you. Reggie, you did not have a serious drug problem or a mental defect. So you was not hanging out in Camden. Knock it off.
I mean, it was just people I had met or knew.
No, you ain't meet nobody from Camden. No. You don't even have the disposition to meet someone from Camden. Knock it off. Sir,
that's why he's an actor.
He met someone from Sicklerville. That's what he did. He met someone from Sicklerville, and they said they was from Camden. Knock it off. When you meet somebody from Camden, it's like, you know, it's different. Camden is different. And no disrespect, because no disrespect, but Camden is that place in Lion King where we don't go there. Like, you know, Mufasa told Simba, we don't go there. Yes, that's Camden. That place he went way too far. All right, so I got some questions for you, man, because right now, you know, you came up in this time period where, you know, people were still acting emergence of black stars. You know, I know you wanted to be like, you thought you was a Wesley Snipes because you was right around that era where like the chocolate guys came back. You know what I'm saying? Because you was on the cusp of the chocolate guys because the light-skinned dudes was running the early 80s. El DeBarge, you know, Howard Hewitt, you know what I'm saying? They was Mario Van Peebles, you know, like light-skinned dudes was there, you know what I'm saying? The St. James dude that was in the soap operas. Yeah. So now you came to the Wesley Snipes area, right? So now with that being said, right, you got all the chocolate dudes that you wanted to emulate. Who was your favorite actor of that mid 80s to early 90s?
From then to now, it's still Denzel.
Okay. The brown skin brother. Okay. All right.
He was my man.
You better say my man. You better say my man. I'm gonna let you go, but better say my man.
I'm gonna say my man from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was a monster.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Was that the gentleman that played in Martin Luther King? I said Malcolm X. Excuse me. Not
Andre Brower is his name.
Andre Brower. Oh, okay. With the glasses, Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Andre Brower was a monster.
Okay. All right.
In terms of the African American men, to set the standard.
Who?
Andre Brower and James Earl Jones also.
Okay, now we gotta have a talk. Now you gotta come to the principal's office.
Okay.
Now we gotta come to the principal's office. We gotta talk now.
You
did not. He did not. He ain't mentioned Larry. Larry. That's how they call him. Larry. Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence was a monster too. I mean, I can go. I learned more from Lawrence and Morgan Freeman as later on in my career, because in the beginning, when I saw Andre Brower in Glory, right, and there was another movie I saw him, and I was like, this dude is a beast. And here's an interesting thing I learned as I was coming up way back when I first got out here. The reason why Andre Brower in Hollywood circles, and I heard this directly from Hollywood insiders, and I mean deep insiders who like know the game. Forget know the game, run the game.
Okay.
Because I had an opportunity to have a chance to hang out with somebody. I can't mention no names, but this is straight from them. Andre Brower did not get the quote unquote fame stardom that his acting ability deserves because in the eyes of people who ran the industry, he wasn't as handsome as Denzel.
That I can understand that because he is a thorough actor. I can say that because I'm gonna give you another one that's in that same lane, that you just spoke of. Forrest Whitaker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's right in that. Like if he physically, if he was more attractive, he would be right there too. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is, and I brought these things up, is because, you know, most people say Denzel. I know that's why I threw Wesley out there. And the reason why I say that is because Denzel, thank God he had training day, but I didn't see his range. You know, like for instance, Don Cheadle, right? His range, Don Cheadle, right? Chocolate Brother, right? He went from Rocket in colors. He was Rocket.
Right.
In colors.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was Rocket in colors.
Yeah.
Right? Then he was Miles Davis.
Uh-huh.
Then he was Miles Davis, right?
Yeah.
Then he was in Iron Man.
Yeah.
And
don't
then
forget Hotel Rwanda.
No. I was going to give some. I'm just showing his range and where I was like, it was so big a contrast. And the other person that I saw his range was Jeffrey Wright. Like he's one of my favorites, Jeffrey Wright. You know, he went from Peoples and Shaft. I thought he was Dominican. I had no idea he wasn't there. Like, you killed my brother. You killed my brother. Like, what? Right. I just knew him. But now, where I see certain actors, and I'm like, we're getting typecast. And I'm like, you can't show their range. So, for instance, like, I'm a movie buff. You know, like, people don't realize, you know, like, I throw this one out there. What's my man name? You just said the old guy, electric company. You just said his name.
Morgan
Freeman. Morgan Freeman played a pimp. Did you know that, Jay Tanae?
Yeah.
He played a pimp. That was one of his first roles. He was a pimp. Yeah. You know, driving Miss Daisy and a pimp. Crazy. Like that range is crazy. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I look at somebody's range, whereas I say, is he a good actor? And I say, I like that. I like that. Yo, show me something I did. And then that's why with Training Day, I'm a Denzel fan. I would never say anything negative about Denzel on any type of Black or, you know, African-American platform because I would probably die. But I also want to say, like, all right, fam, I got to see your range because he always played like that, you know, the person, he's that dude and he takes over a movie per se. But I did like him in the beginning when he was in St. Elsewhere. Right. You know, and then he graduated into the superstar. But I was like, I got to see more range. But some other actors, I was like, their ranges were crazy. Gerald Owen Jones and Conan the Barbarian, you know, and then the father in Fences, because he was the original father in Fences. Yeah. And so looking at Earl Jones, I'm like, okay, I see your range. And for us, you know, like just because of our, you know, because of discrimination, we don't get so many chances. We get limited chances. So when we do got to get our chance, we got to really shine. Right. And so one thing back in the day, they called it recycling actors. It's like there are a lot of roles. Much as I love Denzel, there are a lot of roles that he got. It was like you could have given that role to somebody else. But it's like, no, we're going. All right, we're going to go into a touchy subject now. All right, but there's a lot of roles that they gave stars where it's like, why somebody else can't get a shot, you know, or even the co-star. Excuse me, sir. What do you feel about Tisha Arnold and Tisha Campbell getting Tisha Arnold? Tisha Arnold and Tisha Campbell, correct. Yeah. So them actually getting so many TV roles for the Black mother, like they dominated for basically 2.5 decades. Well, Viola got put in that mother role first.
She was always the mother, and I had a chance to
Which one?
Viola Davis.
No, that's just the last 15.
I'm saying early in her career.
Okay. Was a mother. Yeah, she was mama.
Yeah.
True.
Then Tashina Armin and Tisha Campbell, same thing. It's the same thing. It's like you're recycling actors and you're not even giving them a chance to show range. It's like this is what we see you as, and this is what you're gonna do. And in many instances, when you want to work, it's like I want to be able to do something else, but I still need a job.
Correct.
A lot of actors have to do, what they got to do.
But then we settled it.
Hmm?
Because there's a lot of Black actors. Why haven't more actors become the directors and have their own companies? Like Tyler Perry kind of took it to the whole next. Whether you like them or not.
That's a whole nother.
That's a segment, Jay.
But I'm saying, if once you start making that money, why doesn't Denzel have this and that and bringing on people? Why doesn't, like, you're doing it? You know what I mean? You're using your own money. You're trying to get funds from here and there to make it happen. So why don't they do it instead of complain about it? Like, make it happen.
I'll say it like this, and I'm gonna go backwards. The proof is in the pudding, and here's the pudding. There's a whole lot of writers out there, a whole lot of directors who got mad skills, right? Mm-hmm. Crazy skills. They have the ability to write films that will move mountains.
Right?
And now I'm gonna take you to just the Lakers. From the 6th man to the 12th man on the bench, just those 6 people have enough money to finance 4 dynamic filmmakers to make a minimum $5 million budget film, right?
I'm with you.
You have people that have the money and you have people that have the skills. So when you ask the question, why doesn't it happen? Where's the disconnect? And the disconnect, in my opinion, is a lack of faith in the ability of those who have these artistic skills from those who have those financial resources. And if I'm wrong, I say go back to the pudding. The proof is in the pudding.
That's heavy. I mean, that's heavy.
I gotta give you a round of applause. You stepped through that minefield this sweet. I thought you was gonna have a Kanye moment. Thank you, sir. I was just like I was looking like, hey, don't say the wrong shit. You want to work, right? I know too.
But now here's the flip side of it. And I'm gonna go to the plug of my film. I have 2 films coming out. One is already out right now on Apple TV and Amazon. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
People like it. So everybody watch Because We're Done on Apple TV and Amazon, right?
Because we're done.
9.7 out of 10 on that too, y'all. So he's getting good thumbs up on it. So
thank you. This is a film that I wrote maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? That I have been seeking money for that entire time. I ultimately found someone with the finances who says, I trust you, the artist, with the finances that I've been able to amass for myself. And we can come together. And now we have a story being told. And that's been happening. If you go to All Black, if you go to BET, if you look at what Sanaa Lathan did with the film that she has on Peacock.
Correct.
So the beauty and the blessing is there are people, forget what color and race they are, there are people with financing, with funds, who are beginning to divulge that money into artists that from the writing standpoint, because you got to write the script and, to be able to produce it.
Yeah.
So they're reading scripts and say, hey, I like this story and I'll finance it for you to make it. So it is happening, but at what level and at what degree? Because if you wanted to go to the movies right now, forget what's on HBO and Cinemax and all that stuff. If you wanted to actually leave your house and go to a movie, how many Black films we got in the theaters to be able to see compared to how many white films?
True.
Those dollars that are going to the white films could have gone to Black films. They just have not. And it's not because of lack of ability. There's a gang of writers out here who know how to write. Mm-hmm. It is, in some form, a lack of belief that these filmmakers know how to make a film that will make money, because it's still a show business. I know how to put on a show. I went to Freedom Theater. You know what I mean? I got yelled at and cussed out enough times. I need to know how to put on a show, right? But it's still show business. Somebody has to trust me, the business side of me as a producer and a director, to know how to write this script and then get it out there for it to be able to make money.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with any filmmaker wanting to make money off of his art. The Lexus is a work of art. BMW is a work of art. Damn, the commercial says the ultimate driving machine is a work of art. Mm-hmm. You can't go get no daggone new BMW for $17.
No, you can't.
They want to make money off of their art. The house everybody lives in, the apartments, there's artwork. I made this. I'm going to make money off it. Your rent is due, right? How come we can't spend our little $3.99 and buy some of these movies? That's weird. Okay. Why does it have to be free on Netflix? Why you can't pay your little $3.99? And there are people doing it because filmmakers should be able to make money off of their art. You just have to find investors that say, I trust you not only to know how to put on the show, but to handle the business.
Okay.
And I try to pride myself.
That's a whole nother gotcha.
Business.
Okay. So can you tell me about, because you were of a certain demographic age range, you seen the ascension of Tyler Perry. What is your thoughts about his rise to power from the stage play to the, silver screen and some of the shows that he put on now?
I'm going to start in reverse again, and I'm going to start with the obvious. There's a gang of people like, Tyler Perry stuff is bad. It's this, it's that. Oh my gosh, it's the same thing. And how many times is Medea going to pull a gun and shoot somebody? Right? Mm-hmm. They're missing the genius behind it. Tyler ain't the only person that has some idea to do some plays. Heck, we all have been to a couple plays where people on stage singing and clowning, doing the exact same thing, right? But Tyler figured out a way how to tap into his audience. And he says, I'm going to stick to entertaining my audience, who is now my family, and I'm going to entertain them and give them exactly what they want. And that audience says, thank you. We appreciate that. And since you're taking care of me, I'm going to bring my cousin. Come on. I know you got issues with Tyler, but just come with me to see it.
Gotcha.
The validation is, all right, I'll come with you. Since y'all the host of the show and I believe in y'all, I'm going to come and support y'all to come see this damn Tyler Perry mess. I'm only coming to support y'all. But man, you got somebody new in there that's like, oh, this is not bad. Hey, come with me now. Yeah. Come with me now. He was able to build his audience. It's genius.
He built his base. I got you. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And from there, he took that and he had a passion for it. I've had the opportunity to work with Tyler. He had a passion for it. It's like, I love doing this. So anytime you can mix passion with ability, it can breed success. And Tyler will work hard. People say what they want. Tyler gonna work hard. You know what I mean? And he don't mean nobody no ill will. He ain't trying to be mean. He ain't trying to do something he loves doing. Not everybody's gonna be liked doing what they love doing. Because when you're doing what you love doing, especially in the entertainment business, it is to entertain. But then you're still a person. So your personality may rub people the wrong way.
True.
Kanye.
Absolutely. Wait a minute. Look.
Musical genius, but this nigga is tripping. Anyway.
So hold on. You touched it. Look. What do you think? What is your perspective on Kanye?
You can say skip.
I think two things are in play. One is one that I'm going to say is something that could have been overlooked and people don't want to deal with. And the other one, it ain't no overlooking. But I think in some regards, over the years, there was mental instability that people just overlooked. I don't know that people just all of a sudden become crazy. and start. There's always signs to something. You can't do nothing in life without a sign.
Correct.
From a stop sign in the middle of the street to your son just walked into a wall 3 times. Something ain't right. You know what I mean? You can either ignore the sign and do what, the California roll. People just ride through the stop sign. Your son just turned around and he just on his computer, and all of a sudden then he go back to watching TV. He just does that sometimes. You can ignore a sign. Hold on now. Little boy done smacked himself in the head 3 times watching a football game and then sat there. So I think that there were some signs ignored over an extended period of time that whatever was going on has exacerbated itself to what it is now. Or when you are becoming powerful financially, your demeanor changes and you think you can become above the norm of society.
Approach. Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because I'm
above the norm.
Right. I think it's one or the other. No matter which one it is, it ain't good. And somebody who probably worth about $17.32 got enough gumption to be like, Kanye, I'm locking you in my house and I'm going to make you see a doctor for the next.
Yeah, I got you.
You're going to have to shoot. Someone care enough to be like, I don't know what Will did, but I know you ain't seen him since the slap.
Yeah, he's just coming out now. He just came out this week. So, he's been quiet. Him and Tiffany Haddish, because of the sexual allegations. Right. Absolutely. They would say that.
Whatever happened, I don't know if somebody said, yo, Will, we're going to lock you up for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Somebody.
A PR team. Yeah, a good PR team. Absolutely.
Right. We're going to take you. We're going to take you. You want to go to Bali? We go to Bali. You want to go to France? We go to France. But we taking you somewhere. We're taking all phones and all communications, and you're going to sit and watch and binge watch everything on every streaming service ever until we figure out.
Yeah. So now, with the Kanye mess, for me, I just think he doesn't have a great foundation. And what I mean is he's not grounded. So a lot of times when someone gets famous, they usually have someone in their circle that can check them and say, listen, you're bugging. Like they may have family members, that uncle, mom, dad. So if you don't have that, you could be all over the place. And that's what I see. I see that he's a fame whore. And he's saying some things that might be profound, and then he'll say something like "Make America Great Again" and wear a hat, and I'm like, okay, you goofy as hell. What I'm saying? Like, wow, okay, I understand that part, but now you did that, and I'm saying, okay, you need to be grounded. So it's just like he needs to be grounded, and he is an attention seeker, and for those type of people, wherever the attention is, he will fluctuate and get there. So that's my own take on it. Hopefully he gets better and he gets some help. Now, let's go on because I have to ask you some rapid fire questions. All right.
Okay. All right.
So in these rapid fire questions, you can say one thing or the next thing. You can say both or neither. All right. So let's give you something easy. Okay. Right. Would you, from the mall, would you like in Philly, would you get a hot pretzel or would you get a hot dog?
Both.
Okay, so you can say both. You can say both, neither. Get that. All right, gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna just give you some things. All right. You already said it, but I'm gonna throw some other people. James Earl Jones or Lawrence Fishburne. As an actor. James Earl Jones. Okay. All right. Westchester University or Widener University?
Westchester.
Okay, just check it. I just try to keep it around Philly. All right. Keep it around Philly. All right. University of Pittsburgh or Penn State?
Penn State.
Okay. All right. Let's get a little harder. Pat or Geno's?
Oh, Pat.
Okay. All right. Listen. All right. Okay. All right.
Wait, for people that don't know, he's talking about two cheesesteak places. There's
No, we don't gotta tell them. We don't gotta explain it. People
Okay.
know. People know. People know. Okay, now watch this. This is what people are. Look, this is the dog whistle one. Kensington or Richard Allen?
I grew up in Richard Allen there. So
What
Richard,
the hell? There's no way you. Okay,
I grew up right down the street from Richard.
No, you didn't. No. You have all your teeth. You have a hairline. You don't have.
Judging. You're judging.
No, he did not. No. And he said he hung in Camden. These are lies, I tell you. Okay, let's keep going.
It's called the lying truth. Is what it's called.
Hold on.
Right, the lying truth.
Yeah, lying truth. Bo Kimball or Rasheed Wallace?
Bo.
All right. Mike Bibby or Tariq Evans?
Oh, man. I'm going to go ahead and rock with Tariq.
West Jack.
I'm rocking with Tariq.
I saw stuff. All right. Let me finish it up with some stuff. Some ones.
But Mike is my guy.
Look. We'll tell people what I was talking about because I'm saying stuff that me and you know. Philly stuff. Okay. Angela Bassett or Viola Davis?
Got to be. I don't care if I got to go both.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. You got both. All right. And something. And I give my last one. You know, I always ask this one, see where you at. No, I got two more. Okay. Dr. J or Michael Jordan?
Julius the Doctor.
Okay. You know you couldn't go back to Philly if you got that wrong, right? You got that one wrong. He wasn't going back to Philly. All right. And the one I always ask everyone because I wanted to see checking their temperature. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
So you got Doc over Jordan and Jordan over LeBron?
Yep.
You can't judge his.
I didn't judge him. I just said the order. I said what he said. I didn't judge him.
You judge. Do I need to give an answer though? Explanation?
No, you do not.
No,
you do not have to, but you can. Right. Look, but you can.
No, you don't.
No, look. He can if he wants to, but he does not have to.
Okay, I'm gonna just stand by it.
Okay, all right.
Look, all right.
So I just did a quick fire and everything. But, you know, some things that you have in the future, what are some of the things that coming up that you're doing? Because you currently have some stuff, we just shouted that out. But what are some of the projects that we should look for in the future? Coming
out on Monday on, I believe, Amazon and Freevee is a Christmas movie called Our Christmas Love Story. This is one of the greatest, funniest Christmas love stories that you really, really want to see. So that is coming out this Monday. What is it called again? Our Christmas Love Story.
Our Christmas Love Story. Our Christmas Love Story.
Yeah, all right. It's a great little film.
I want to pitch you an idea. It's about a podcaster / educator / handsome man, you know what I'm saying, who is traveling and he meets, you know, Sanaa Lathan, or a beautiful woman in the airport. And they fall in love, and you know, because the airport was snowed in. You know what I mean? Can you make that happen? I just want to know if we're a friend.
I'd have to write out the script and let Sanaa read it and let you read it.
Yeah. Oh, me? Who, me? Absolutely. I will use the method acting, man. You won't believe. Because look, my wife. Look, I'm just saying. I told my wife. Listen, I'm already ready for my classes. Like I'm trying to get a summer ready where I could take a class and everything. Because I think I might have the ability. I know I got the personality. I'm just weird. You know what I'm saying? I love art. Everything art, and I'm different, but that's another. Well, my wife is watching this.
But... All right, so after saying that, so we're looking at our Christmas love story.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got that coming out. Anything else besides just this Monday coming up? Amazon Freevee. Okay, I'm definitely gonna tap into that too.
I got some more questions.
starting possibly next week, but the end of this year and starting next year, I'm gonna be back on stage doing stand-up. So I'll be around town in LA doing some stand-up comedy, getting a chance to you know.
All right, so get your chops back. All right. So question. Who was the best actor that you worked with? That you said, man, that was one
man, one of the best actors that I actually physically had a chance to work with. I'm gonna go with my boy Jason George.
Jason George.
He's on Grey's Anatomy now. He was on Barbershop. He played his boyfriend on Barbershop.
Okay, got you.
Jason George. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So Jason George. All right, I could go with that. All right. How was it working on Friday with Cube and them?
It was great. Let me go ahead and break something down. Cube is one of the most gracious brothers you'd want to meet. You know what I mean?
Really?
Him being in the position of authority and the boss and everything, he made everybody feel comfortable. He allowed you to be you on set. You know what I mean? To bring to the table. He didn't overstep his boundaries with the director. He wasn't like, yo, I'm Cube, do this and do that. He was just real cool. He's very professional. He was like, look, he's about his work. And he was about letting people do what they do. Okay. You know, I hired you to do what you do, so I'm not going to now robot you and have you do
right.
Got you.
Nor am I going to be so overly, bossy, like, yo, get it done. I want to go home. So we need, he let the director handle his business, and he was a true partner. My man, Cat Williams, Cat put on a great comedy acting class. I mean, that's gracious.
Pimpin'. Absolutely. Wait a minute. Give my sentiments to Q, because you get to him. Yo, we really need that last Friday. Like, I had so many story plots in my brain. I was like, y'all could do it over Debo's funeral, and Debo's brothers come out and then do something, and then all the characters to tie them in. I think Chris Tucker spoke about, like, he would it. It's just like, we need that for the culture.
Right.
Like, we need that for the culture. Like,
as long as it ain't no flop, because you got to come with it.
No, because like each one,
other family was like,
and each one, he introduced, because prior to Friday, not Mike. Let's go to the first one. Chris Tucker wasn't so well known. We knew him at Def Comedy Jam, but he wasn't a household name. After Friday, our culture knew him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like, okay. Then Mike Epps went to the next one, and Mike Epps was known running the circuits, the comedy circuits, came to Philly on South Street, and Mike Epps got into Friday, they ripped it. And then when he did the third one, I was like, okay, let's see how, Cat Williams. Well, Cat Williams was a little bit more well-known, I think, because of the Boondocks and some of his stand-ups. He was a little bit more seasoned than the other two prior to the Friday, exposure. But he still showed out. And think about it, like, Pops passed, John Witherspoon has passed since, so did Tiny Lister, Debo. And I'm like, before we lose any more, Bernie Mac passed. Yeah. Because he was in the first one. So you have all of these cast of characters. You could bring Big Perm back. It's like, yo, fam, you know what I mean? And I didn't even realize until I just said it out loud. AJ Johnson passed away. AJ, what is the one that fell on my neck and my back? What's his name?
It's
I know you're talking about. Right.
He passed away. He just passed away this past year.
Right.
The one that fell down. He's like, my neck and my back. He was a crackhead.
Right.
So now I'm like, before, we lose any more, actors from the series of Friday, I'm like, I even heard Miss Parker on another podcast. I'm sitting there like, you still fine? Okay. Miss Parker, like, all right, Miss Parker. I didn't even know that. Felicia, she got a whole thing. Her son's in it, I think, an NBA, that I didn't even realize she had an NBA son. And she talking about, like, she's traumatized because people always say, bye, Felicia. I was like, Nah, that's shit. I'll make T-shirts, monetize that shit. Like,
right.
I'm thinking, I'm like, sister, you're looking at it all wrong. But you tell Cube we need it for the culture. We need like the last Friday, Nia Long and Cube has a kid, and
Lord. Could be. But whatever it is, we need just some good.
Look, you see them juices going. You see them juices going.
Right. What would you have Regina King do?
We need
Regina King. Oh my God, the sister.
Right. Yeah.
Would you have her do?
Watch this. Her and Chris Tucker got together and they had a real bugged out relationship. And she put Chris Tucker on child support. Look at that. Look at how I'm doing, man. You got me in a room right now.
No, that's enough of that.
And remember what Avita? Remember from Steve Harvey? She was the girl that do her hair.
Yeah. Wait, somebody else. What would you have your boy Tony Cox doing? He was the little thing.
He was the gangbanger?
He was the small person.
Oh, Tony Cox. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Hold up. The one that was Miss Parker's husband.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I would have him and Miss Parker having a church because they have a church because Bernie Mac and she became saved and then he gave his life to the Lord and he's gonna be the pastor of the church and she's gonna be the first lady of the church and then Felicia got saved and born again and they got a real crazy church. Listen, let's keep going. Give me some more characters.
All right. Mr. Gaskins, all you gotta do, Mr. Gaskins, you need to get old in a talent, in a writing class, and then maybe do a writing class, and then
I got another one. I got another one.
That's it.
Come on, let me get one more.
All right, so we move right along, and we won't stop. We just gonna say thank you, Mr. Gaskins, for being on the show. You know what I mean? I love your urban love story with the sin of a woman. I was thinking one thing, and so I watched it, and I was like, oh, you talking about sense. Oh, I got it. I saw that, you did some things with the police officer. You was giving people tickets or some comedy reels I seen that was hilarious. Had people putting out cigarettes and all kinds of stuff. So, keep doing what you're doing. Anything else? So before we go back in, do you have one more thing? That's it. No more questions before we end the night.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Diva Chronicles with him because he puts on.
No.
Diva Chronicles.
So
what's that?
We got to talk to him. Did I freeze or y'all froze? Oh, that was
y'all froze.
Oh, chunk.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Jay today. She got that bootleg. She got T-Mobile. All right, don't worry about it. But at the same time,
that's it.
No, I really don't have much. I'm a fan of your work. You know what I'm saying? I've watched you for quite some time. I looked at your stand-ups, when I can. I used to go to different shows and see different people. And I don't know the comedy shows because I've been to Nails, Comedy Zone, Laugh Factory. I've been to anytime I travel, I go see a show. But at the same time, I love that you're writing because writing gives more opportunities for the actors. Actors, they get to display their talent, but the writers, they actually provide the opportunities for people to display. So I'm glad that you're doing that. Also, hopefully that one day I can make some money and I could be one of those, what we call sponsors. Because listen, I want to be super dumb wealthy, but I do not want to be famous. Like, I want to be in the background. You'd be like, who is that dude right there? That black dude with the hat on. Like, I like that, like right there. I want to still be able to go to the movies. But I'm like, man, like there's so much art that I like to see. Like me right now. If I had money, I'd be like, yo, Ava, whatever you want to do. Oh, Ava, whatever you want to do. Hey, I got a couple of, got some money for you. Oh, also, how do you feel about 50 Cent and him creating all these shows?
No.
Oh, man. Okay, all right, I'm chilling. Yeah, because we going on 2 hours and I still got like at least 30 joints. I'm like, all right, we're going to have to have you back.
I'd love to come back on anytime.
Yeah, we got to. All right,
so where can we find you at?
All right,
where's your handle at? Where can we find you on social media? Shout out to you.
I'm my name on everything, Reggie Gaskins, across all the social media platforms, but please go to our Instagram page because we are done, WER done. instead of the we're, because we are done. And look out for our Christmas love story. Please watch and support. Go to Apple TV and pay a little $3.99.
Yes.
It'll be worth it. You'll get a good laugh out of it. And you'll learn something from it.
All right. Well, I'm going to definitely check it out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much again, Mr. Gaskins, being on KROSS BARZ, and it's KROSS BARZ. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, on our website, YouTube, Facebook, at KROSS BARZ. We thank you so much. Again, we love you. Keep doing what you're doing. We support you and everything. Go pay $3.99, y'all. All right. We see y'all later.
Thank you. Be blessed, y'all.